Talk about how to handle tantrums in public. You know why. I remember the time my oldest was around 4, we packed up the whole family, a newborn, a 1.5-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and we went to Target, not Costco. But as soon as we walked in the door, we were like walking through the doors, and she asked if we could push her in one of those huge carts, you know, like the kid ones that are like a bus. And I said no, because I didn't want to deal with it. And she freaked out. I mean, this is the most intense public meltdown that I think she had ever had. Like high-pitched bloody murder screaming at the door. And I remember we were like walking in the door as she's having this huge like meltdown, and this like 19-year-old boy walks by, and he was like, I'm never having kids for that specific reason, which actually cracked me up a lot. But I have totally been in that situation, right? At the grocery store, at Target, at Costco, wherever. It happens because kids are kids, and kids have feelings, and they do not have the skills generally to manage their big emotions, especially when they're overstimulated, tired, hungry, feeling a little out of sorts. So here's how I handle it. Number 1, and I know this is the hardest piece because it's easier said than done, but you have to shut out everybody else and you have to focus on your kid, because your reaction will either escalate your child or it will help them calm back down into like a grounded energy. So I focus on staying as like unbothered as possible, and then I have 2 main goals: set any boundaries that need to be set and let their emotions happen. So the boundary for us was like, hey, you can have your big feelings, but we're not going to use that cart. Like that was my boundary, that was my answer, that's what I stuck to, right? And I could validate her emotions, and I could let her know, like, I understood why she was so disappointed. She was also tired and hungry. It was like 4 o'clock. It was the end of the day. So I knew that was going on, but I can definitely sit there with her, which I did. We kind of went over to a corner, right? I didn't just like stand in the entryway of Target. We went over to a corner, and I just said to her, like, hey, I understand. You're really disappointed. You love those big carts, right? You really wanted to ride in that. We're not going to. My answer is no. I'm here if you want a hug. And I let her have her feelings. And I didn't try and fix it. I didn't try and squash it. I didn't try and quiet her down. I didn't threaten her into stop crying. I just let it be. And I held the boundary that needed to be held. And you guys, she cried like that for about 20 seconds. And then she said, can I have a hug? And she got a hug, and then we were fine. And we went in, we got our regular cart, we met the rest of our family, and we had a lovely little shopping trip. Sometimes your kid is going to have bigger emotions, right? And they're going to cry for longer. They're going to be upset for the rest of the trip. That's okay. That happens. And if we were in a place like a fine dining restaurant or the middle of the library where people were working, I probably would leave and go like outside or to the car, not to leave like forever, but just to help give my child the space to regulate a little bit so that they could come back down and be grounded. That's as simple as it gets to be. And then you get to continue on with your life, right? Knowing that like your kid was a kid and they had a moment and you were there to be their safe comfort and guidance, and you could still hold your boundary and you could still be a good mom. And also like you didn't do anything wrong. Your kid was just having big emotions, and that's okay.